Can I begin?
Yes.
Good evening. As Hashem is Barech, we're starting the Maimer Tetzaveh Tavshem Aleph, which happens to be a year when Purim came out on Friday, just like this year, Tavshem Pei Aleph. I'd like to introduce the Maimer with a little bit just the Kuntres of the background. In Tavshem Nun Beis, the Rebbe gave out the Maimer Tetzaveh to approximately 8,000 people. The Rebbe stood on his feet in the shul and was Yudis Kislev or maybe Chanukah. The Rebbe gave another time. The Rebbe explained that there's a pasuk, Ki lekach tov nasati lachem. The Torah is a good lekach. So not only that you eat it, consume it with your brain, with your seichel, the Torah that the Rebbe gives, also your stomach gets the lekach tov from the Rebbe. On this Maimer, the Rebbe wrote, Yehiratzain, sheyifel pe'ulasa haritzuya. That the Rebbe is saying a bracha and a wish that the Maimer should accomplish the pe'ula that is the desired pe'ula. What is the desired pe'ula? Well, that's what we're going to see when we learn the Maimer. It's bring a ma'aser ha'iked. Well, what's very unique about this Maimer, the Maimer was said originally on Shabbos, Parshas Tetzaveh, Tavshem Aleph. Then it was what's called Purim HaMeshulash. This year is also Purim HaMeshulash, which means a triple Purim. What's triple about it? We have Purim on Friday. In Eretz Yisrael, Purim is in Yerushalayim, where there are walls. They celebrate on Shushan Purim, which is Shabbos, but you can't do all the things that we do on Friday. You can't do it on Shabbos. So those things that cannot be done on Shabbos are done on Sunday, the day after Shushan Purim. So we have 3 days Purim in a row. The Rebbe said a Maimer on Purim, and the next day, which is Parshas Kisisa, which was Tetzaveh, the Rebbe said the same Maimer over again. The Maimer of the Tetzaveh, I'm sorry, I said before, was on the day after Purim, was actually the Shabbos before Purim. It was on Yud Oder Rishon. Yud Oder Rishon, Shabbos Parshas Tetzaveh. I'm sorry, I confused a little with the dates, but Yud Dalid Oder Rishon. The Rebbe said the Maimer, a surprise Maimer on Friday afternoon. No one expected it. It was upstairs in the small shul. So we're going to learn the Maimer that the Rebbe said, Shabbos Parshas Tetzaveh Yud Oder Rishon. Sorry for the confusion. This is talking about Oder Rishon. On Yud Oder Rishon, Shabbos Tetzaveh, the Rebbe said this Maimer. The next month, on Friday, which was Yud Dalid Oder Sheni, the Rebbe said a Maimer by surprise. No one expected it. He went into the small shul. It was only like 20 people there. And the Shabbos after that, the Rebbe said the Maimer again, but with more arichos, with more biur. That's setting the thing straight. I'm sorry. So we're going to learn now the Maimer of Shabbos Parshas Tetzaveh that the Rebbe said on Yud Oder Rishon. This Maimer is something that the Rebbe handed everyone. And what was very unusual about this Maimer, when the Rebbe gave it out, the Rebbe wanted to make sure that as many people as possible should get it. The Rebbe stood on his feet for so many hours, and then on the way out from shul, people came a little late, or very late. It was like 11 o'clock at night. The Rebbe stopped and gave out more. The Rebbe came upstairs. Before he went into his room, he gave out some more. It seemed like the Rebbe had a special interest of giving the Maimer to as many people as possible. Since this is the Maimer that the Rebbe gave us with his own hand, his holy hand, so we have to cherish this, especially if this is La'es Ata for the mountain. For the time being, this is the last Maimer that we got from the Rebbe, which Chassidim treat like the Basi Legani of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Basi Legani, the Frierdiker Rebbe gave us, was the last Maimer that the Frierdiker Rebbe gave us, Basi Legani. That was to be learned on Yud Shvat Tafshin Yud, on that Shabbos when he was nostalgic. That Maimer had 20 chapters, so 5 of them were for Yud Shvat, the next 5 were for Yud Gimel Shvat, and the other 5 and 5 were for other special days. I think it was Beis Nisan and Pesach. So the Rebbe gave us a Maimer which is also the most important message that we have to take in these days that we don't see the Rebbe Begashmias. The Rebbe wants us to know, what does the Rebbe do for us in these days too? And we know that a change of his presence amongst Chassidim. If anything, it gets stronger, as the Alter Rebbe says in the Geras HaKodesh Simon Chav Zayin, that the presence of the Rebbe, like the Rebbe said, mer aktiv, and more poil, the Rebbe does even more now, even more than before. But to understand it, by learning this Maimer, we're going to get to know what is the tafkid of a Rebbe and how we play such an important role of being part of it. And this we learn in the pasuk of V'ata Tetzaveh es Bnei Yisrael. Because what does it say in that pasuk? There's something for Moshe Rabbeinu, and then something for the Yidden. V'ata Tetzaveh es Bnei Yisrael is something Moshe has to do. And then B'yikho Elecha, that's something that we have to do. What is this that Moshe has to do? and the part that we have to do and has to go together, that's what we're going to learn in this Maimer. And as I mentioned, being that the Rebbe handed this to us, the Rebbe is giving us very clear instructions how a chassid is supposed to feel and behave and act in these days, the last of Galus. Mordechai was like Moshe Rabbeinu in his generation. Mordechai was the Moshe Rabbeinu for his generation. That means, in other words, that he was the one that did what Moshe Rabbeinu did for us. What Moshe Rabbeinu did for us in his days is what we are doing, what is done now in the times of every generation. There is always a Moshe Rabbeinu who shows us how to go and what to do. 1 second. I see that my thing went off a second. Okay. I have to get back on. Hello?
We hear you, but we don't see you.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to go out and come back in.
Perfect.
Now, do you see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. The Tetzaveh is Bnei Yisrael, and I just, of course, to mention that this shiur, like all the shiurim, are l'schus, l'ilui nishmas, Miriam Bas Ephraim Ze'ev, which is Poel and Aliyah, which is the biggest Aliyah, is Yilidus HaNeshama, Beguf, Petchias HaMeisim, Ayidei Bias Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Kodev Mamash. Ve'at Tetzaveh es Bnei Yisrael, V'yikoi Lecha. Now the Eibush is saying to Moshe, Ve'at and you, Moshe, you should be Tetzaveh the Bnei Yisrael, V'yikoi Lecha. They should bring to you Shemen Zayizach, pure olive oil, kosses that's crushed, lamoed for giving light. What is the shemen used for? The oil, lahalis ner tamid, in order to kindle the light, which is a perpetual light. And this pasuk has a lot of questions and diyukim in it. This tzivoy comes after making the Klei Mishkan and the Menorah. In Parshas Truma, it tells us how to do all those things. And then it says, the beginning of the Tetzaveh, that you should tell the Yidden to bring you oil for the Menorah. There are many diyukim in this pasuk, because once we see the diyukim, we'll realize that there is another layer here. The pnimius hapirush of this pasuk has nothing to do with oil. It has to do with the tafkid of Moshe Rabbeinu. What is he supposed to do for the Yidden? Which basically is to connect the Yidden to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and number two, to nourish the Emunah, as we'll soon explain. All the other commandments in the Torah, what does it say? It Tzaveh b'nei Yisrael, kiyotze or it can say David el b'nei Yisrael. V'kan ne'emar ve'ato tetzaveh b'nei Yisrael. This pasuk has an unusual terminology. It doesn't say tzav, it says ve'ato tetzaveh b'nei Yisrael, which it's simply, this is a different kind of wording. There are other Maimarim where it brings the same shaila, and he says the Ika Diuk over here is not so much the difference of tzav and tetzaveh, or rather the va'ata is the question. The word, the diuk, va'ata tetzaveh. What's so difficult about va'ata tetzaveh? So the Rebbe says, it's not a question just of different words. It's not only a question of semantics, using these words or those words. It has to do with the content, what's being said. This sounds like Moshe is the one who's commanding. Isn't it the Eibush that's giving the command? The Rambam says clearly that if a person says that everything in the Torah, except for one letter, everything was given by Hashem, but one letter of the Torah, Moshe mipiatzmai amroi, Moshe said it by himself, chas v'shalom, that's chas v'shalom, the hepech of emunah in the whole Torah. We know that everything is only from Hashem. All tzivuyim are from Hashem. So what does it mean if va'ata tetzaveh, which is mashmeh, that Moshe is the mitzaveh, Moshe is the one giving the command?
You're on mute.
Moshe is a shliach to give over to the Yidden as tzivah HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why over here by this thing of the oil it says v'ata tetzaveh, keilu, as if Moshe is the one who's making this command. So that's the first shaila that the Rebbe is asking. Then comes the second shaila. We also have to understand what does it mean when it says v'yikchu eilecha. The Yidden should bring to you, to Moshe, sheyaviu Hashem el Moshe eilecha. They should bring the oil to you. The l'chaira, why should they bring it to Moshe? Who's going to be kindling the menorah? Aaron, right? Since the kindling is through Aaron, like it says in the next pasuk. The next pasuk says, It says Aaron is the one who lights it. So why should we bring the oil to Moshe? Why was it necessary to bring to Moshe to bring the oil to him? So first question is on the word va'ata tetzaveh. Second one is, why bring the oil to Moshe? What is he going to do with it? Why him? Bring it straight to Aaron. We also have to understand what it says in the pasuk. Shemen goymet kosis lamo'or. It's crushed. This oil is crushed, and it's lamo'or. The word lamo'or grammatically doesn't really fit in, because what does the menorah do? It's laha'ir, to give light, to illuminate. The l'chayir havelei l'meimar shemen goymel laha'ir. That the shemen is for the sake of laha'ir, to illuminate. The word ma'ir is a shem ha'etzem. It's referring to the thing itself, the source of the light. Laha'ir is shem ha'pa'ula. It's a verb. And since it's a verb, it should have said, like the word in Bereshis, it says, that you. So we have to understand the diuk of the lashon la'ma'ir. That's a third shaila. The fourth question is the Fertikashi. In the next pasuk, right after this, it says, when is it lit? Me erevat boiket. V'kan nemar lahalis ne'tamid. A minute. When is it lit? Afterwards, it says it's limited, only from the evening till the morning. So we have to understand what are these two inyanim: the inyan of Ner Tamid and the inyan of Me'erevat Baiket. So in short, we have four diyukim. Why does it say Va'ata Tetzaveh? Moshe is the commander. Why do we bring the Shemen to Moshe? Aaron is one who lights it. And number three, what's Shemen Lamoir? It should have said Lahoir. Number four, what's this concept of Me'erevat Baiket? And the first pasuk it says Ner Tamid. So the Rebbe is mamshich the maimer mevayed kveit kedushas meire v'chamei atmor. The Friedrich Rebbe said a maimer tafresh peizayin and put him cut. This was in a time of danger, as we all know, because a few months later he was arrested. And he said this maimer, he said a maimer v'kibel Yehudim. It's a famous maimer tafresh peizayin. And in that maimer, the Friedrich Rebbe brings this pasuk Va'ata Tetzaveh that the Rebbe brings here at the beginning of the Maimer, and he explains it, and he answers the questions that the Rebbe asked. It says, "Mevayir kveit kedushas meire v'chamei atmor v'mamorei hayudua dibra mascha v'kibel haYehudim shenemar bepurim cotton taflish peizayin." What does the Friedrich Rebbe say? That tzivui tetzaveh utzavsa v'chibur. The word tetzaveh can be used in two ways. Either to mean command, it could also mean from the word tzavsa v'chibur, connection, attach. When you bring two things together and mechaber two things together, that's also expressed in the word tetzaveh. Because in Hebrew, the word tzavsa v'chibur, that's like the word, the same root like the word tetzaveh. That, in other words, that Moshe Rabbeinu was told by Hashem, V'zeu v'ata tetzaveh es b'nei Yisrael. Moshe is told by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should attach and connect b'nei Yisrael. Shemoshe hu mekasher mechaber es b'nei Yisrael im oirein sof. That's Moshe's job. Connect Yidden with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's what the pasuk means, basically. Be'ata tetzaveh, you're going to connect. That means techaber is b'nei Yisrael with oirein sof. And what's going to happen by doing so? Ba'al yidei sheMoshe mashpil Yisrael. And through the fact that Moshe is mashpil to Yidden, shemekasher oisam im oirein sof, this is going to add a yisrain, an advantage to Moshe. Moshe is going to get a benefit from doing his job of connecting us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's the benefit? So the Rebbe says here in the brackets, the Moshe v'Yisrael im dugmas rosh v'regel. Moshe and Yidden are compared to a head and the feet. We are the feet. Nemar sheish meisel fragliam asher anochi bikir boy 600,000 people raglei ha'am asher anochi bikir boy that the anochi is in them. What does this mean? It's the whole Yisrael. Hey maraglaim the Moshe. We are all the bechin of raglaim, like the feet of Moshe. Moshe who arosh shalahan. Moshe is their head. Moshe ba'adam. Haraglaim melichim es arosh lamakim sharosh mitzad atzmai. Eine yochel agil l'sham. And just like by a person, the feet can bring the head to a place where the head cannot get there without the feet. The head could want to go to shul, but the feet will take it to shul. The head wants to go to the base of Medrash to learn. The feet will take him there. Israel, haraglaim the Moshe, misfasei filu b'Moshe. That the yidnu or the feet, they can bring an advantage to the Rosh. There is a Maimeh L'Kutei Torah. Actually, it's brought in the Maimeh of Tafresh Pei Zayin, and Friedrich Rebbe actually brings that L'Kutei Torah, Nitzavim. It's a Maimeh for Rosh Hashanah. Over there it says like this. Vayihi on the pasuk. L'Kutei Torah state on the pasuk. Vayihi Bishurun Melach. V'yisasef Roshayam Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. What's Yishurun? Yishurun are the Yidden. The Yidden are called Bnei Yaakov, Yisrael, Vishurun. That's names that Yidden are called by. So when Vayihi B'Shurun Melech, when is there by Yidden a Melech, a king, which we want to do by Rosh Hashanah? How? B'Asif Roshei Am Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. Only when there is an asifa, a gathering, an achdus of Roshei Am, the heads, with everybody else, Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. Then the Eibishter says, now I can be your king. And the Alter Rebbe explains it with the mashal. He says, all the Yidden are kaima achas shleima. All the Yidden are like one body structure, with the head and feet. And the Alter Rebbe says, even though the Raglayim, the feet, are the lowest in level, and physically lamata, and the Rosh is the highest, both in quality and also begashmi. It's the highest part of the body, but in a certain aspect, there is a maila, a virtue to the raglayim, the fact that the head can't get anywhere without the feet. The feet help him walk. And they keep the head upright. Imagine without feet, the head goes down. The Alter Rebbe brings over there another thing. In the olden days, they had what's called bloodletting. That if a person has a pain in his head, they will do some bloodletting from the foot, and he'll get cured. Which means that the head, so to speak, is getting its chayes from the foot. And the Alter Rebbe concludes, v'nimtza, that there's no shleimus to the Rosh without the raglayim, that the head is incomplete without the feet, and therefore you can say all the Yidden are kemachas shleim. With this, it's understood also what the Rebbe is saying here in the Maimed, that Moshe Rabbeinu is the Rosh, and we are the feet, and through the Yidden, we are Moisif, that we bring something to Moshe Rabbeinu. What do we bring? And this is the Rebbe is going to be mamshech. What's the Eloi that Moshe gets? Zehu Mashanemat Sheish Meis Elef Ragli. Asher Anoichi Bikir Boy. What's this level of Anoichi? Shall Yidei Ragli Nimshech Hagili Da Anoichi Bikir Boy Shal Moshe. The Moshe gets the level of Anoichi. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu's level of Chachma. Anoichi is Kesed, it's higher. Moshe will be Zeicha to get Anoichi Bikir Boy. How? By being Mashpia to Yidden. By doing his function, what Moshe Rabbeinu needs to do. It says in Medrash that by Matan Torah, if there was Shishim Riboy, if there was 600,000 Yidden there, minus one, the Torah would not have been given, not even to Moshe. Now, there were many Yidden who were at the level of Rosh, or Lev, or other parts, and there were Yidden who were in the Bechina of Raglayim, Dasan and Aviram. Yeah, people who were whatever they were. And if they were not there present by Matan Torah, the Torah wouldn't have been given. So that means they're Mashlin, Klal Yisrael. In their schus, Moshe Rabbeinu got Torah. And that's what the Pasuk is telling us, that Anoichi, which is a level of Keser, which is higher than Ishtalshlus, in order to come down the Pnimius into Moshe, that's through Moshe's being Mashpia to the Yidden, to Raglei Ha'am. Now we could already answer two of the four questions that we asked at the beginning of the Maimed. There are two diyukim here. Number one, what's V'ata Tetzaveh? That you should connect the Yidden, do your tafkid, what the Abish to put him in the world for. And then what's going to happen? The Aliyadei Shem Moshe Yitzaveh Yikasher as Bnei Yisrael in Oirin Tzoif, by Moshe doing his part of following Hashem's instruction, Be'ata Tetzaveh, through that, Ayidezeh Yaviu Bnei Yisrael Shemen Zayis LaMoshe. Then the Yidden are going to bring Shemen Zayis to Moshe V'yikhoy Lecha, which means Sheyesifu Tosfos Oir b'Moshe. They're going to add an extra oil for Moshe Rabbeinu. Question is here, we still have to understand what is, okay, Moshe has to connect the Yidden to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? What is that in Avodah? And what's this V'yikhoy Lecha that Yidden do? There are two functions here. The function of Moshe Rabbeinu to the Yidden, and a function of the Yidden to Moshe Rabbeinu. V'yikhoy Lecha. They're going to bring you Shemen Zayisach. Very fancy words, but what does it mean? Well, how do we translate it in Mamish, B'Poel Mamish? And that's what the Rebbe is going to explain. Levi said, in order to understand what is this that Moshe is Tetzaveh, that means he's Mechaber, B'nei Yisrael Telekos. So the Friedeke Rebbe brings in that Maimed, Maktim Ba'Maimed, Moshe Rabbeinu Nikra, Moshe Rabbeinu is called in the Zohar Raya Mehemna. Now, what does Raya Mehemna mean? Well, probably it's very easy to say. Raya is like the word Roya, the shepherd. Mehemna sounds something like has to do with Emunah. Says the Rebbe, the Shnei Pirushim Bazeh. There are two Pirushim. What does the word Raya Mehemna mean, which Moshe was? Pirush, the first Pirush is Shuraya Neman She Yisrael. Raya Mehemna, he's a faithful shepherd. which means just like a faithful shepherd takes care of every single sheep, every lamb, every sheep. Same thing, Moshe Rabbeinu takes care of every yid, Mercedes Nefesh. That's the Pashta Taich of a faithful shepherd. Here comes another Pirush. The second one, B'shehu Zan u'mefarnis es Yisrael be'inyan ha'emunah, which means he feeds, he nourishes the emunah of a yid. What does it mean he nourishes it? Every yid has emunah. Yid nar ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. Every yid. What happened to Moshe Rabbeinu when he said in Parashat Shmos, "V'hein lo ya'aminu li"? They won't believe me. What did they? David wasn't happy because it says later by that vayamein ha'am. The Yidden did have emunah. So Yidden are ma'aminim. And the others, we know it says v'hem in Bashem, that Avraham was Reish HaMa'aminim. So we're ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. So why does Moshe have to feed us if we have it already? You don't feed a person if he has his own food in his hand. So what's a pshat? Says the Frierdiker Rebbe, explains it. What does the Rebbe do? What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? Moshe in his Torah. And a Rebbe in every generation, he has to cultivate the emunah that's by a yid. What does that mean? It could be makif. It could be only superficial. Yeah, I believe in Hashem. Does it affect his maise, his dibur, his machshava? Lav dafke. A person can be someone who believes in Hashem and go even against Hashem. As the Rebbe is going to bring, I'll soon bring a dogma you can see. The Amunah yeshna, sheyeshna, Yisrael mitzad atzmam, because the Amunah that Yidden have mitzad himself, by default, every Yid is born with Amunah, without any exception. But sheYisrael ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim, therefore we say Yidden are all ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. But efsheh shetiyah b'chinas makif, it could be in a way of makif, that it's superficial, it's not something which is internalized, that he feels it in his heart, in a way that will affect his machshava, dibur u'maaseh, like the Frierdiker Rebbe brings in that Maimah of Tavat Shpei Zayin. He brings a mashal to this. It says that Gam va'apum machtarta nachmana chayu. That a ganav, when he's standing at the entrance of the tunnel, he wants to, he's going to make a gneva, and he's going to creep through this tunnel to get into someone's house. So it says, as he's entering his tunnel, he says, God help me. He cries out to Hashem. That means he does believe that Hashem can provide him. He's just making a mistake. He thinks he has to get it this way. But he believes that Hashem is the one you have to turn to if you need parnasa. And Hashem right now is listening. Otherwise, he wouldn't say, God help me. So it means Hashem is paying attention to him. And that mitzad, this emunah, he's asking Hashem for atzlacha, that he should have what he needs. But what kind of atzlacha? He should succeed in his gneva, in the theft, and that no one should catch him. It's mamish, such a contradiction here going on. Asking Hashem and doing against Hashem at the same time. What's going on? So Frierdiker Rebbe explains there, because the emunah, like the lashon of Frierdiker Rebbe, is meruchak ve'einoi nirgash b'pnimius. It's like in the far distance from him. He believes, yeah, there is a God, and God can help me. but it's not internalized. In other words, when you, I think I mentioned this once, I heard the Rebbe saying to someone, this is a clip that was posted of a quote from the Rebbe. You can hear the Rebbe saying it between Sichas by Fabrengen. Someone came to the Rebbe, spoke a little bit, and the Rebbe tells him, don't you know that on the American currency, it says, in God we trust. And the Rebbe says it's b'diuk, the word trust. It doesn't say believe, it says trust. What's the difference? The Rebbe says the difference between belief and trust is min hakotze lakotze. They're two opposites, two extremes. The Rebbe says, why? Emunah, you believe, but you do what you want. You behave the way you want. Bitachen is when one gives himself completely over to Hashem. So that means that emunah could be makif. Emunah could be something which does not affect us internally. You just know about it, and that's enough. It doesn't change our behavior. And that's why the Friedrich Rebbe is bringing a dogma like a Ganev. He has emunah in Hashem. He knows there is a creator, and he's watching me. He's even listening to my request. And I'm going to do the opposite. The pshat is that a person, chas v'shalom, sometimes can have emunah, but not bring it into action because it's not internalized. And that is the tafkid of Moshe Rabbeinu. That what v'zeh sheMoshe royo mefanis Yisrael be'inyan ha'emunahu, and that which Moshe Rabbeinu feeds and supplies and nourishes Yidden with emunah, it's not to create the emunah. Hu she'emunah tiyeh b'pnimius. And then his emunah will be in a way of pnimius, will affect him in every single detail of his life. That's why we need a Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why we have to be connected to a Moshe Rabbeinu. I just wanted to mention about what he said, Moshe is the head. There's a letter. I think I mentioned it, one of the previous shiurim, of Yud Zayin El Tafshin Yud, a few months after Yud Shvat, where someone asked the Rebbe, how can you go to the Oyel and daven by the Friedrich Rebbe? How can you do such a thing? You know, v'doyde shalamesim, and how can you b'chlal? How can you? It's one of the Yudikum Leikrim. You have to daven straight to Hashem. What's this going to a Tzion? Going to a Oyel? So the Rebbe said, by tzaddik, there's no such thing as Mason. That's first of all. Second of all, you're not davening to him, chas v'shalom. You're asking the Rebbe, because he's such a tzaddik, he should daven on your behalf to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But then comes the third thing the Rebbe says. That's what I'm bringing it for. The Rebbe is a rosh, the Rebbe says. We are the body, and we are the limbs of the body. So the Rebbe is the rosh of all of us. So it's not someone else davening for us. It's our head davening for us, and our head supplying body for every limb of the body. The same thing the Rebbe supplies chayes to us. But the Rebbe says, there's a very important condition here, that in order that every part of our body should get the chayes from the head, the arteries and the veins must be clear. They must be connected to the Reish, is kashrus, and they shouldn't have any blockage, chas v'shalom. no clots, nothing blocking it. Then the flow can come through, which means that a person connects to his Rebbe, and through this kashrus to the Rebbe, by doing what the Rebbe tells us to do, then we can get all the ashpayis the Rebbe says, Hegashmis Baruchnis. And this is also what it says in the Zayar. Ahi emuna dilaelo yidzam biisparnis minei al yodcha al yidei Moshe. On the pasuk, there's a pasuk in Tillim. It says a pasuk in Tillim, Betach ba Hashem ba'asei toiv shchan eretz u're'ei emuna, re'ei with the ayin. What does re'ei emuna mean? From the word like roya neman. So it says in Zohar like this, that emuna, the la'ela, that supernal emuna, should be nourished and supplied al yadcha through Moshe. That's what the Zohar says. Al yedei Moshe. The Zesh Moshe Zon, Umefarnis so Amuna, Hu Shemam Shechayisa B'Pnimis. The fact that Moshe nourishes us with the Amuna, the pshat is that is helping us get that Amuna come into a Pnimius. And that's Bechlal. It's known, it's brought in Chassidus a lot of places, that the job of Moshe was to bring Da'as. To bring Da'as, the level of Da'as to the Yidden. Da'as is recognition. Da'as is being connected, as we're going to learn later in more detail in Miyatz Hashem. וממשיך במיימר, זה שמוישה אולי ממנו, הכוונה בזה היא, the Friedrich Rebbe in his Maimer says that this that Moshe Rabbeinu's Raimano, what's the kavanah? Not only regarding to Moshe himself, Gamli Spashtusad Moshe B'chol Doir, also for the Moshe that's in every generation. Gamli Spashtusha, the Moshe B'chol Doir, that, like I mentioned earlier from Kuntres, it says there's a pasuk. He brings over there a pasuk. Ashrei shekacha loy. The word shekacha, you add it up, it adds up to 345. So it says over there, that's gematria of Moshe. And that's what it's written, David Siva Elef Dair, that this is for thousands of generations, that there is such a thing as his Pashtusa, the Moshe, in every generation. Who is that? The tzaddik of that generation. The Rosh Alpi Yisrael, Shebechol Doir, Hemechaskim Esramuna di Yisrael, Shebedoiram. The Rosh Alpi Yisrael, the heads, the leaders of the Yidden in every generation, they are mechazik. They strengthen the emunah of the Yidden of their generation. She'emunah shalem tia b'pnimius. And just like was by Mordechai, just like by Mordechai, Shahaya is pashtusa the Moshe shebedoiroi. He was the Moshe of his generation. K'maymer Azal, sheMordechai bedoiroi. There is a pasuk, Ish Yehudi Haya B'Shushan Abira. And based on this pasuk, it says a medrash in medrash of Megillas Esther. Why is Mordechai called Ish Yehudi? Comparing him to another person who's called Ish. Who was he? Moshe. It says Vahish Moshe Anav Ma'id. And over there in the Medrash, it brings a few common denominators that we find between Mordechai and Moshe. So Mordechai Tzaddik in his generation, he was the one who connected Yidden to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he is the one who was Megala the Emunah, helped the Yidden internalize their Emunah and the Pnimiyas to the extent of ready to go Mesidas Nefesh. Shagam Bisman Gezelis. Haman, that also in the time of the Gezerah of Haman, Shalim of that Torah became a mitzvah as Haya Kashu. In Mesidas Nefesh, in the time of Haman, he made a decree that they shouldn't learn Torah, not do mitzvahs. That's why after when it came to the Nets of Purim, it says La Yehuda Mois Ayra Simcha Sasim Bikar Ayra Zutayra Simcha Zuyantiv Sasim Zumila Karel Tefillim, because the Gezerah were on these things. But what did Mordechai Tzaddik do? He killed Kilos Barabim. He gathered gatherings Barabim in public L'chazik es Emunasam Shal Yisrael Ba'avaya, to strengthen the Emunah of Yidden and HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'lamed Chazak B'limud HaTorah V'kiyum HaMitzvos. It's brought a medrash that Mordechai Tzaddik gathered 22,000 Yiddish Kindalach. And it says in Medrash, what happened? He was learning with them Torah. When he saw Haman coming, he couldn't know that Haman was coming to put him on the horse and to give him a ride, because that's what Achashverosh said. He thought Haman was coming to harm him. So he told the kids, Kindalach, life, escape, run for your lives. And what did the kids say? The kids said, Bein l'chaim, bein l'maves, we're with you. We're not going away, because they want to be connected to Torah. So that's who inspired them, Mordechai Tzaddik. And that was what Mordechai Tzaddik accomplished with the Yidden. He gave them that strong emunah, that the emunah should be in a way it's more tangible, as if they see it, not just believe it, but also see it. I once heard from Ibn Nissen, Nemanov, Allah Shalom, probably it's from somewhere in Chassidus. It says a pasuk, Vayvarech David es Hashem la'einei kol hakol. What is Vayvarech David es Hashem la'einei kol hakol? That David HaMelech benched the Yidden, benched Hashem in front of everybody. But if you take the four letters at the beginning of the four words, Vayvarech David es Hashem, what does it spell? Vav, Dalid, Aleph, Yud, Vadai. What did David HaMelech do for Yidden? And the same thing, Moshe in his generation, Mordechai in his generation, and all tzaddikim and rebbes in their generation, they bring vadai, certainty. You know, you tell a little kid, don't play near the stove. You can get hurt, chas v'shalom. He's not so sure. He has to test it. But once he touches it and he sees it got burnt, then he knows with certainty. The emunah that a person has just by nature, because he's born with this emunah, it's given to him from the avos. That's the biggest treasure that we have, and no one can take it away from us. But lav dafka, one is convinced. Lav dafka, one feels it in a way that it can affect his behavior. What does it ever do? Vadai brings it in a way by Varech David Hashem, by Varech to draw down, by Varech David as Hashem, David HaMelech brought Hashem down la'einei kol hakol, to their eyes, not their physical eyes. Brought it down to they like visualized it. They felt it so strong. Because that's what Moshe Rabbeinu does. That's what David HaMelech did. That's what a Rebbe does. He doesn't create something new. He develops what you already have. Like someone who has a talent and he develops it. Because no Yid, it doesn't exist a Yid who doesn't have the Emunah. It just sometimes it's hidden. There's a pasuk, Alma of the Haaretz al Osvam es Hashem. Alma of the Haaretz. Why did they lose the land? Because they neglected Hashem. Says the Alter Rebbe, Eretz can also refer to Emunah. That Alma of the Haaretz. What is it that a person can cause a person, Chas v'Shalom, imagine that he lost his Emunah? Not Chas v'Shalom, he really lost it, because no Yid can really lose his Emunah. That's a gift that stays embedded in the neshama, in the essence of every single Yid. Everyone has it. It just can appear to him as if, Chas v'Shalom, I don't have any Emunah, I have tzveikus. But then, like we just learned in Perek Chavtes of Tanya, that the Alter Rebbe gives us eitzes, what's brought from Zoyan, how a person can waken up the Emunah. Like it brings the dogma of the Meraglim. Sometimes you have to give a little push, and it brings out the Emunah. There are many stories of people complaining that they don't have Emunah, and they really do. Someone once came to the Rebbe in Yechidus, the professor, and he says that he's a Baal Tshuva, he puts on tefillin, keeps Shabbos, but I have one problem, he says. I can't say that I fully believe. I can't say that I fully believe. So the Rebbe says to him with a smile, as long as you are concerned, I'm not worried. What does that mean? Like the Rebbe wrote to people in the Ikres. Daiga ala emunah. Hi haichacha ala emunah. When a person is bothered by his fakus in emunah, that's the best proof that he does have emunah. I heard that someone once came to his Rebbe and said, what should I do? I have fakus in emunah. I'm not sure, you know, the whole thing. The Rebbe says, I have a eitzah for you. He says, why don't you, in the morning, after you wash Nervavasa for sure. Oh, of course. I act like a from Yid, but I have fakus. He says, take the Nervavasa after you washed your hands and take some of the water and drink it. What? Nervavasa? Chas v'shalom. He says, you don't have fakus. I heard a nice with Tzemach that someone came and said, I have fakus in emunah. Tzemach says, no, like, so what? So what? I'm a Yid. Says, you don't have fakus in emunah. It's just a bilbul of the Yetzer Hara, confusing us and trying to pretend every Yid has emunah. And the only thing is to learn Chassidus, connecting to the Rebbe and following the Rebbe's Heidos, we can have that emunah more internalized, that we'll feel it. So let's just sum up what we learned until now. We learned the 4 shilas on the pasuk. Right? Say suddenly va'ata Tetzaveh. Moshe should be the one commanding. Number 2, why should they bring it to Moshe? Yikoi lecha. He's not the one who's going to light the menorah. Number 3, what's the word lama'ir instead of laha'ir? And number 4, what is this ner tamid? In the next pasuk, it says it's from the evening till the morning. And then the Rebbe said, to understand it, you have to understand B'chlal, what is Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation. That is Jai, he's a Raya Mehemna. He is a faithful shepherd, and he's also a shepherd who takes care of our faith. He connects Yidden with Eid Ein Sof. He develops the emunah that we have. He helps us internalize it. And there are a lot of more details to this, but which we'll explain Miyat Hashem the next shir. A guten Tag, a guten Nacht, and a gut gewünscht, a freilichen Adar. And just remember, every day of Adar, it says Marbim B'Simcha. We have to add more Simcha. I heard from my father, and I'm almost sure he said it in the name of the Rebbe. Marbim B'Simcha means that every day you have to double yesterday's Simcha. That if you had one measure of Simcha on the first day of Adar, you should have a double on the second, double that the next day. So you're going from 1 to 2 to 4, 8, 16, 32, 50, 64, and so on and so forth. So every day you double the amount of Simcha of yesterday. So when I was teaching my class, I asked them, I said to them a riddle. So I'll make a deal with you. Because I want to bring out how much Simcha we have in Chodesh Adar. So I'll make a deal with you. On Rosh Chodesh Adar, I give you $1,000 cash, put into your hand, on the condition that you give me a penny, but on the second day, you double it. And all the next days consecutively, till the end of Adar, just double it. Whatever you gave me the first day, double the second day, third day, keep on doubling it. And at the end of Adar, we'll see who gets more money. So some of the kids said, what are you talking? $1,000, it's a lot. I'm just going to give you a penny. I say, you're going to be doubling every day. It's 4, 8, 16. But the other ones, the smarter kids, kept quiet. They weren't sure. So I told them, take your calculator, and you'll see that by the end of 30 days, I will be getting over $10 million. I said, try it on your calculator. You'll see, starting with the penny, which shows us that if we every day accumulate more and more simcha, and like the Tzemach Tzedek says, if you don't feel up to it, fake it till you make it. Pretend that you're b'simcha, and you're going to feel that great simcha. We'll tanza rein to the Gola Shlema, v'karev mamash, and we'll have the simchas olam al reisham. Amen. The Chaim.